Hi everyone, welcome back to my cargo trailer to camper conversion series. So in this series is kind of just like a part 2 on building my cupboards. So I built the boxes, I built the frames, some of the doors, but I never really finished it. I just wanted to get camping, you know how it is. So in this one I'm just going to go over a few of the things that I did to try and make it a little bit more organized, a little more comfortable, and discuss how I did it. How to build drawers, how to build some of the shelves, the boxes. So let me just show you around what I did. So starting when you first come in the door, on the right hand side I put this cupboard up here, little shelf under there, another cupboard up here, and then a couple shelves here, toiletries, that sort of stuff. Little shelf up there, put the soap on and stuff for the shower. I also made this this centerpiece here, so it folds down. So basically it's just got a latch here, and then that's it. So that's a spot I can dry my dishes, that sort of thing, when I'm washing. I also put gas shocks on all of these, so it holds the doors open. That was fairly easy to do. And then on the other side of the shower at the front here, I put this drawer in here. So just a little spot for this cutlery, silverware, stuff like that. And then that there, and then again just the shocks for the cupboard. So anyways, that's just a quick run through of what I'm going to cover in this video. So let's get into it and talk about how I built this stuff. Let's start with the drawer. So here's our drawer laid out here. I've got the sides cut. What I did is I cut them so that looking face on you won't see the seam. Like if you put it on top like this, you'd see the seam of the drawer, the end grain of the bottom. So this way it covers that all up. Same with on the sides, you won't be able to see anything. And so now to make this, to attach it, what I like to do is I like to glue it always, of course. But I'm also going to put some pocket holes, pocket screws in there. So that these things over here, this is the pocket screw jig, and we'll go through it a little bit. And then I've got a bunch of different size screws. So when I'm using half-inch, this is half-inch plywood, I'm going to use this 1-inch T20 pan head screws. These are these little guys, tiny little screws. And how I'm going to do the pocket holes on this one is, just because the way that it is, I don't want to see them in the front here. I'm going to hide them. I'm going to go in the bottom. So the bottom drawer, I'm going to come up like this into this piece, and then up like that into the sides. Screw those in, and then I'm going to put one right in the side here, up top, to hold this corner. And same with this corner over here. And like I mentioned, I'm going to glue it all. So I got my piece all laid out. What I did is I'm going to use the nice side down, the rougher side inside the drawer. See where I've marked? I put marks where I want to put my pocket holes, the screws. I like to do this because sometimes as you're working with things, you get it all flipped around and you can start putting holes where you don't really want holes. So that just keeps you all on the same page. So then the jig, we're back to the jig. And what I use is just a pair of vice grips to hold the jig on. And I just throw a little bit of tape just so it doesn't mark up the wood too bad. And that's what clamps the jig on there. So you just put the jig on it and then clamp it on to the spot that you want. Lock it on, and then you can drill through it. It's good to make it pretty tight too, because you don't want the drill, the bit wandering around on your piece of wood. That's all our pocket holes done all the way along there. We're going to just glue it up and then screw it together. So we got our drawer all done here. So let's go test fit it in the trailer. So I've got my slides, they came in. These are just 12-inch slides, they fit in there nicely. You just get whatever size your drawer is. And it's a soft close slide. Highly recommend them over those plastic ones, you know, the ones with the little wheels. They just fall apart. These ones, they can handle the weight, especially of such a big drawer full of all your utensils. And honestly, they're not too much money. I think this was like $12 for a set of these. So how I'm going to install this is basically I'm building a little bracket on this side of my drawer, and I've got a couple of these little support brackets. So this goes in first, and then this is going to go like this and like that, and that's going to provide my support for the end of the drawer. So that's what's going to go on this side. This side over here is going to go right against the wall. So what I've done is I've marked, you can see here a mark on the wall. This is right in the middle of the drawer. So I measured, my drawer is a 3-inch drawer. So I measured 3 inches, drew my line across. So this is straight in the middle of the drawer. And then on the drawer, and also on this side, on this support side, I drew it right in the middle of where the drawer will be. So this is going to line up where I want to put my screws for my slide. You can see there the line through there. So once you line up that and line it up with the end, you're good. It's nice and solid, and you can still adjust it a little bit. You can see the slotted screws. But anyway, so that's the end support. This support on the drawer itself, I made the line just 1/8 of an inch lower than the center, because I want my drawer down just a bit, just so it doesn't hit the edge here. Nice 1/8 of an inch would be just perfect. So I've got my lines on there. So here's our finished product with our drawer here. Looks good enough for me. It's nice and solid. It's not going anywhere with the nice supports here on the side. So it comes all the way out. You can see exactly what's in there. And then I think I'll probably have to get some kind of lock here. This is, it clears the stove thing, no problem, the cover. So that's it. So this one's done. Moving on to the next. Focus on the front here. And up front, I was thinking I'd put like a cabinet up top, some kind of cabinet, some shelves down below. So let's get inside. We'll cut up some rough sizes, and then we'll see how it all works out. So I got all the pieces cut up, and I'm just in the process of pocket hole drilling them. I use the same process as building the drawer, so you've already seen that. There's no point explaining it again. So these are my shelves that I built. So I've got one bigger shelf, one smaller shelf that's going to go on that back wall. You can see the same process to attach them, just pocket holes inside. So I got all my pieces cut, and I'm going to stick them on now. What I'm going to do first off is I'm going to mark where that steel stud is so that I can screw this back solid to the wall, and then I'll build my shelving around it. So I'm going to put you on a time lapse so you can watch that happen. So next project, we're going to just make a countertop out of this here. I want a fold down countertop. I'm finding like once you're washing dishes, there's nowhere to dry them. So there's this piece of wood right here. I'm going to cut it, put a piano hinge on the bottom, a little brace in the side that folds away, and then that'll fold down to extend my countertop over so I can dry my dishes while I'm washing. Especially in the winter, it'll be a lot nicer camping. So to make sure this thing's square to the countertop, what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure up the distance I want, and I'm going to mark it on this side, and then on that side I'm going to drill a little small pilot hole through it, and then same up top where I want it up top. I'm going to drill through the little small pilot hole, mark up front. That way when I cut it, it's going to be square to the counter. So the next project I want to do is I want to put some dampers to hold these doors open. Well, you got it up so that you can put stuff in here. You're not trying to hold them up with your head. I got these just off of Amazon. I'm going to mount one per door, one on either side of the door. Here, I got one installed here already. I'll just show you that. And if you notice, it holds the doors up nice. It puts a little bit of pressure back like this on the door, and it keeps it closed. So when you come down, it's got quite a bit of pressure on there, holding that door closed. Okay, so here's the bracket installed, or the shock installed. And it comes with a few different brackets. It's got this little bracket here, which I mounted up top there. And then it's got this little round type one that I mounted. I just used 2 of the screws of the 3 screws to mount in there. I mounted it as far back as I could, just so I could get the screws kind of in the middle of the wood here. But this is measured from the hinge point. I measured 2.5 inches out. That's the center point here. Down here I just did this by eye. So basically I just closed the door, and as I closed I watched just to make sure it was going to clear, and that's where I installed it. And I just wanted it high enough that it would hold the thing right against the ceiling. On the drawer pulls, all these little knobs. Just bought this kit off of Amazon. I think it was like I don't know, $12 or something for 10. Enough to do my whole trailer. Comes with a bunch of different size screws. If you don't have the right size screw, like this is for 1/2 inch plywood, just a quick little tip on your wire strippers. If you just take the screw, you can screw it in. There's a bunch of screw sizes here. You screw it in through however much you need excess, and then cut it off. And then you can cut your screws to the size you need. So now I'm going to just put the knobs on.